Angry Guy here, and today we're discussing what women don't understand about the passport bros. There's a lot they don't understand. Women seem to think that in some countries, like even the Filipinos, they seem to think that the passport bros are coming to the Philippines for the Filipinas, and that's not entirely true. Even women in other countries, they think, oh, the passport bros, they're here for us. That's not entirely true. Today we're discussing what women don't understand about the passport bros. I found it very interesting. So Helga, if those of you that don't know Helga, she's a Filipina and she's been promoting the passport bros for quite some time. And she showed a lot of love, but there's just some things. There are just some things that that people don't seem to comprehend. Even she doesn't understand. She's talking about passport kings, and you know, and again, like these women are they're happy. They're really happy to have. They're really happy to have, you know, men over there, to have these men coming to their country and to marry, and marrying them and having children with them. But unfortunately, these women don't. They seem to think that the men are only coming over there because they're in love with the Filipinas, and Filipinos are great. Latinas are great, but it, it's much more than that. The passport bros are part of the men walking away movement. Men walking away are basically men walking away from Western women and Western society, and it's pretty crazy. These women don't seem to understand that if they ever become toxic, if they piss these men off, like these men that have went to the Philippines, like these are nomads. These guys are basically like, if these women irritate these men, just get on their nerves. Get on their nerves. Like, just piss them off just enough. Sometimes it won't even take much. You'll literally see these guys blasting, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." Like, these guys will get the fuck up out of there like nothing. They will walk out on their wives. They won't even say, "I'm going to get some milk." They'll just get up and, like, literally, they'll go. These women will go visit their families. They'll come back, and these men will be gone, and they'll just abandon everything there. They will just abandon everything they bought. They'll just leave that shit there. They're like, "Okay, you can have it. I'm gone. All right. This was a nice experiment. I'm gone." They don't comprehend that these are men walking away. They think that these are men setting down roots in other countries, and mm-mm. Yes, these men might be building houses, and it seemingly appears that they're establishing lives in these other countries. They don't understand that these men, if they mess around with these men and they don't do their job right, these men will leave them just like they've walked out on the Western woman. They'll walk out on them as well. These men are not messing around, and they need to understand this. They need to understand, like, well, it's what Western women seem to think, like, oh, these men, they're doing this because they can't be in a relationship with us, and blah blah blah. And they're rejecting you, and they're rejecting they're rejecting toxicness. They're rejecting man hating, man bashing. They're rejecting all of these things that have permeated throughout the West. And if they go overseas and they find it overseas, I'm telling you, they're going to walk away from it as well. This is literally what men have always done. This is the reason why, if you look at Ukraine, and when Russia went into Ukraine, they let the women leave, and they said men 18 and older have to stay. Because when a country loses its men, that's it. If they allow the men to leave, especially the young men, that's the end of the country. I initially thought that the men were forced to fight. Nope. The men are forced to fight, but they're not allowed to leave the country. 18 and older, you're not allowed to leave the country. Why? Because these men, if they leave the country, that's the end of the country. A country is nothing without its men. Nothing. You have no men, you have no country. When the men leave, that's it. The country falls. Okay? This is the craziest thing that people don't comprehend. And what the passport bros are doing is the passport bros are leaving. The passport bros are not going to defend the West. The passport bros are dumping the West. They're dumping, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to have anything to do with it anymore." If you look at the report, there's actually a report out, right? And I thought it was more, but it's still a ton. It's still an absolute ton of guys, right? Let's check this out. The most chilling metric of all. Mike Rowe warns that 7 million men are done looking for work and have punched out. Why that is a serious problem. Okay, I mean this is a lot of guys. This is a lot of men, and these these guys have permanently left the workforce. Men have been this is let's check the date on this article. So you guys, this is March 19th, 2023. And the day I'm recording this video is March. This March 23, 2023. So I'm recording this video 4 days after this article was written, and I actually saw a video on CBS where they were talking about this as well. And it's funny because like the reporter Gail King, she's basically her immediate her immediate response was to basically bash men and say that they're unattractive for what they're doing. And it's like somehow she thinks that by bashing these men, that's going to shame them back into work. Like, oh, that's really unattractive. Women find that unattractive. These men, you think these men give a fuck? Y'all really think these men care? These men don't give a shit. They're out. They're out. They're out. They're out. They're out. These men are gone. My gosh, I can't believe this. I really can't. I'm so serious. I cannot believe this. Like, these women are absolutely crazy. They've lost their minds. They don't realize that men are out. They think that they're going to shame them back to the plantation. So basically, here's how the article goes. Men have been steadily clocking out of the American workforce since pre-pandemic times. Even now, despite there being millions of job openings and an uncertain economic climate. While the U.S. labor market remains incredibly tight, the economy adding another 517,000 jobs in December, with the economy adding another 517,000 jobs in December, around 7 million prime age men between the ages of 25 and 54 are reportedly sitting it out. And guys, the number actually has been increasing for decades now. There was a massive increase from like 2019 through this has been happening before the pandemic. All right. So let's see. They are affirmatively not looking for work. They've punched out. They're done. TV host Mike Rowe said on the Brian Kilmeade show. This is citing research from economist Nick Eberstadt. These are studies that have been found. It's been happening for decades now, but it's accelerated recently, where men are literally men in their prime working years are dropping completely out of the workforce. They're not coming back. So what's really happening in the country now that scares me right to my core fundamentally is that we've never had so much unrealized opportunity and so little enthusiasm for it. Why the workforce participation rate is waning. Edstat first noted the decline in the number of men who had jobs in his 2016 book, Men Without Work. So again, it's been happening for a while now. It's been happening for decades, but they've picked up on, they've noted that this trend has been going on for quite a while, which is interesting. Right around like hashtag Me Too and all that other political stuff, and that had nothing to do with it, of course, right? A trend, he said, was exacerbated during the COVID-19 pandemic. While plenty of workers were laid off or left due to illness, not all of them returned to the labor force, even after job openings picked up. The Minneapolis Federal Reserve also found that 25% of prime age Americans aren't currently working. 25%, guys. And while some say they're looking for jobs but can't find any, others are actively choosing not to join the job hunt. The report points to reasons like caregiving for an elderly parent or child, health-related concerns, retiring early, going to school, or joining the military. But that's for some of them, right? But that's not for these guys. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce surveyed Americans who lost their job during that pandemic, and about a quarter said federal aid incentivized them to not actively look for work, while about half aren't willing to take jobs that don't offer the option of remote work. Over a third of younger respondents said they were focusing on learning new skills and prioritizing their personal growth before re-entering the labor force. There's a growing gender gap. Eberstadt says a vast majority of these prime age men spend around 2,000 hours a year on screens, do little housework, and don't spend time volunteering. However, there might be more to the story than men simply slacking off and sitting at home. The decline of men in the workforce may be particularly due to the drop in manufacturing jobs since the 1960s, which have either been automated or moved offshore. Additionally, researchers show that women are more likely to have 4-year college degrees compared to men, when post-secondary education typically comes with better employment prospects. Women account for more than half of America's college-educated workforce, according to the Pew Research Center. College-educated women are now participating in the labor force at the same rate they were before the pandemic. So women are participating in the labor force at the same rate that they were before the pandemic, while the share of college-educated men working are actively looking for work has lessened. So even among college-educated men, they're sitting this one out. All right, they're sitting this one out. Why this is a problem? Rowe calls the decline in male participation in the workforce the most chilling metric of all, since it's an indication of what's to come. Reduced labor force participation has already taken its toll on lower paying industries. The leisure and hospitality sector have seen the highest quit rate since July 2021, and retail isn't far behind, reports the Chamber of Commerce. And durable goods manufacturing, wholesale and retail trade, and education and health services are contending with a shortage of skilled workers. This puts more pressure on the remaining employees, who may be dealing with longer hours, tougher responsibilities, and burnout. And guys, what's going to happen? These guys are just going to end up quitting as well. Running your workers like this, asking them to do 20%, 30% more because you're short staffed, it's very much a short term strategy. You're going to keep losing people. Paige Obed, a professor of the University of North Carolina's Kenneth Flagler Business School, told the Washington Post. I should put on my glasses, but I don't want to. Some employers, like restaurants and airlines, are reportedly offering higher wages, although economists say this could be contributing toward inflation, as higher labor costs drive up prices. The U.S. labor shortage will probably have to be solved by some combination of immigration and automation and recession. So, guys, they're going to have to import more workers because men in America will work. Writes at automation and recession. Wow. Writes Eberstadt in an op-ed for the Washington Post, likely adds this is far from likely to reduce popular angst and discontent. Guys, men are dropping out because of what's happening in society. Men are not happy with the way they're being treated in society. Men are underappreciated. Men are spoken down to. Men are attacked and belittled. Men cannot even go to the gym without being called a creep. Men are, the prospect of getting married and having children, a lot of that has gone out the window for guys. And I mean, no, I don't think people understand. If men aren't going to marry, then men don't need a lot. Men, you have your video games, you have a place to sleep, you have a place to shit, you have to play, you have a place to sit down, you have food to eat. You don't need much else. Men are like warriors. We don't need a lot. We don't need a lot to survive. We can live very, very frugally and be happy. You know, I mean, like a lot of guys. You give a guy a Nintendo Switch. You give a guy a Nintendo Switch. Some food and I'm just being honest. Give a guy a place to sleep, a Nintendo Switch, a case of beer, a sleeping bag, and I mean, it's some food, and he really doesn't need. Listen to me. You will see how happy this guy lives. He will live like that, and that's it. He has. I mean, he has. Listen, he has clothes. Think about this. If he has a bag, and that bag contains clothing, right? He has a place to sleep, sleeping bag. I mean, a pillow is an extra, but if you don't have a pillow, he'll sleep. He'll use the bag. That's cool, man. All right, give him a sleeping bag. I'm just being honest. I'm just being so honest. This is the truth about men. You give a man a sleeping bag, give him a sleeping bag, his smartphone. He has a sleeping bag, his smartphone. He has clothing. He has like a backpack with his clothes, everything he needs in it. He has a smartphone. Maybe he has a laptop in there, whatever. A Nintendo Switch, and just give him a case of beer, some water, and give him some food. All right, and he's good. And I mean, he's pretty much good, man. All right, he's pretty much good. Men don't need much. Men don't need much at all. All right, Nintendo Switch, bro. Not everyone needs a. Listen, Nintendo Switch. He's happy with that, man. Switch OLED. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. A place to he has Wi-Fi. A place to charge his shit. He doesn't need anything else, bro. He's gonna be a happy camper. He's gonna play his games. He'll play his games when he wants to. He's gonna eat when he wants to. He's gonna sleep when he wants to. He's gonna shit when he wants to, and that's about it. Throw in a place to shower, and I mean, I've had, and he'll go to the gym. He can find it. He can go to. He's okay. He's okay with going to the gym and taking a shower. Go to the gym, work out, take a shower. I mean, again, a man doesn't need much to survive. Men need very, very little to survive. Men need very, very little to survive. And it's like a lot of people just don't understand that. As men, we don't need much to survive. Women don't comprehend just how little men need to survive. And they don't understand that men don't need them to survive. Women at this point, the only thing they can offer is, the vag. And men don't need it. Women think they do. These men, the report, I didn't say it in this report, but what are the men doing that are not working? They're spending 6 to 7 hours watching television, playing video games, and relaxing. This is what it actually found. Like, because I saw it on CBS. All right, they were going over the report on CBS with Mike Rowe and everything, and they even interviewed him. And they said, so what are these men doing? And they found that these men are spending 6 to 7 hours a day watching television, playing video games, and relaxing. These guys are just chilling. They're living their best lives, man. They're living their best lives. And women don't seem to understand about Password Bros and MWA, men walking away as a whole, that we don't need them. Men don't listen. If these women overseas stress these men out at all, I'm telling y'all, if these in 10 years, these women do not offer good, solid utility for these men are going to get up and leave. This is not a game. This is not a game. All right. These men have got a taste for this shit now. All right. It's not going to end. It will never end. These men are living overseas. They're going overseas and they're saving money, a shitload of money as well. All right. They're saving a shitload of money, and they'll walk away from their wives and go form new lives in other countries as well. All right. You have to understand, a guy who takes off when he's like 30 or 40 years old, let's say his wife starts acting up after 10 years, five years, that's still a young man. 50 years old, that's still a young man. He'll get the fuck up and he'll walk away. He'll keep it moving. And a lot of these guys are doing this now in their 20s and in 30s and even in their 30s. So what do you think's going to happen? These guys will start changing out wives every couple of years. If it comes down to it, they're like, oh, she's not working for me anymore. I'm just going to have to go get a new one. Bye. Guys, do you agree that women don't understand that it's not just that men are simply rushing overseas to these Filipina or Latina goddesses? Men are walking away from Western society. They're walking away from Western women, and they're walking away from bullshit. And if they find that bullshit anywhere, they're going to keep on walking. Anyway, guys, that's about it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, Men Walking Away. And cheers.